Really good to meet you. Tell me, what's your name and where do you work?
My name is Arnd Hirschberg. I worked for Siemens Energy for a lot of years as CPO for 18 years and now as senior strategist for the company.
Fantastic. So, tell me, what are you looking forward to about ProcureCon?
I've been several times at ProcureCon. It's a really great conference. There's a lot of people coming from around Europe to the conference. ProcureCon always gives a lot of room for discussions and interaction, and that's very different to other conferences. And that's really the value I see in ProcureCon for myself and probably for everybody who's there.
Yeah, I can't wait to actually meet you. We'll definitely go for a coffee there. But also for me, the fact that it's being hosted in Cologne. Cologne is one of my favorite cities. So, really looking forward to that. So, what are you speaking about?
I will be speaking about multi-tier management, saying because my deep belief is the procurement world has changed. For things, the crisis, price changes, tariffs ups and downs,
Yeah,
sustainability, compliance, everything asks that we know more about our multi-tiers. And on the other hand, it's a chance if we are really going into the multi-tier to steer them better. And that means we need also to steer our resources we have and people more from the first tier into the second, third tier, because there's a lot of volume, there's a lot of decisions made on these levels, which should be steered from the procurement organization, which we are normally not doing. Therefore, that's a clear shift we need to do, because otherwise we will not manage the challenges of the next few years.
brilliant. So, just so I understand, when you talk about multi-tier management, at a really high level, what does that mean?
But today, I think everybody manages in the procurement the first tier, the one we're sending the order where we're getting invoice for. We know them,
Yeah,
hopefully. And
yeah.
sometimes we're putting strategic resources in to develop them long term, to look into the costs and so on. On the other side, then, we are not looking in the second tier, supply of the supply, or we are doing it sometimes because supplier ask us to do, sometimes we want to look, but is it structured? Is it wish? Do we know our top 10 second tier supplier from PBO? Probably we don't know. Most of our companies probably don't know. And where do we need to put resources on? Because a lot of decisions on cost, compliance, sustainability are taking on the second and third tiers levels.
Fantastic. So, what's the one thing that you're hoping people will take away from your talk?
That's very clear. They really make a change in their organization
Yeah,
and
yeah.
dedicate more resources. At the end, it's about resources into the second, third tier management. That they see there is a better value in putting their strategic people also on these topics instead of managing the first tier.
Yeah, brilliant. And so you mentioned a lot of the things that have been, I guess, threatening or causing disruption within procurement over the last couple of years. What do you see the biggest challenges will be for procurement teams in the next maybe year, 18 months?
That as the situation is changing so rapidly, I think we all know it's difficult to predict in these years what's the biggest
Yeah, it's a
challenge
tough
is
question, isn't it?
today, but there will be more sanctions or limits to global trade. That's
Mm,
everywhere coming up
mm,
more and more. Is it now called sanction? Is it limitations? Whatever country is putting up more barriers between to manage this, especially if we have a long-term supply chain, something in my own job, if we are ordering something, we need it in 18 or 24 months. In
yes,
between, a lot of things can change,
yes.
and still, at the end, we cannot change the supplier anymore. If we
Mm,
ordered in India for a project in Saudi Arabia, that needs to work also in 24 months from now on. And
yeah.
that will be a challenge for all of us to make it as resilient as possible, all our supply chain decisions, because the
Mm,
world will be most likely not easier on a lot of aspects in the next 24 months.
And what's one thing that procurement teams should be doing to prepare for that?
That is still this. I believe we need to understand where all our materials are coming from. Not the first tier, the first tier is typically a system integrator or something, which is close to your factories or close. If you're in UK, it's in UK or perhaps it's in France. But the second tier already, it's a forging, it's a metal part coming from India, coming from China, all over the globe. And it's not just in this metal industry looking on the electronics. It's even worse, their supply chains are so dispersed all over the world. Until you get a chip, you probably crossed 10 different countries until you have a chip in your hand. And everybody is still, and even the government, looking on the first tier, say, oh, we need a chip factory in
Yes.
UK, in Germany.
Yeah.
But that will not make the trick because, if the supply chain behind is still depending on 10 other countries,
Yeah.
it doesn't help to have the last step in your hand.
Yeah. The positive is there's never been more of a need for procurement to step up. So procurement has a massive opportunity to prove our value here, but the challenge will be just how much we can achieve. And I guess the next 18 months will be really critical. There'll be lots of pressure for supply chain and procurement professionals. And how do we build resilience amongst that?
Yeah, what I also see is there will be a challenge because everybody knows how, there's AI,
Yeah.
and everything procurement will be done by AI. But especially these problems, the strategic part, AI will help a lot, of course.
Yes.
But will it solve the topics with the suppliers to discuss what is the resilience? Not at all. Not. They will not solve it.
And that's the balance. That's the balance. It'll be like, how do we make sure that we introduce AI in a way that enhances the function whilst not allowing it to become the answer to, or expecting it to become the answer to everything. So, yeah,
Yeah, on the other hand, it will help in the mile. We have in my division, we have 600,000 orders per year, and there's 350,000 below 500 euros.
yeah,
Is there
yeah,
something for AI? Yes, of course, because
yeah,
these are not the decision-making parts, but they're needed at the end.
yes,
And they
yeah,
need it, that it's a safe process, because if a little metal part is missing or a little cable, the whole project will not be delivered. It's so
yes,
easy.
yes,
Therefore, just to give it to AI without supervision, I'm not sure because we need to be super, super sure it works.
yeah,
And at the end, everything is in time there, and there's nothing wrongly ordered and so on. And that is sometimes the people don't. It's not so easy at the end.
yeah,
Also for an AI to understand all the details on technical, even ordering a cable, because not just a cable, it has 20 pages specifications. It
yeah,
needs to have this, and experienced junior buyer even
yeah,
knows where to order. The AI could do it somewhere. It's still on the surface the right part. In detail, it is not. Therefore, it will take. But on the other hand, there's a lot of work like expediting we can do. So
yes, yeah. So, I can't wait to discuss this with you when we meet in Cologne, and I'm really looking forward to your speech. I am now definitely going to make sure I attend that one because I think you may have a lot of answers for us. So thank you very much.
thanks, Tom. Looking forward to meet you then in Cologne.